For the rest of the show, I'm joined by Dr. Ibrahim Modibbo, a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Constance.
You've listened to all the arguments. Let's start with the local government, and the state government in Anambra State trying to have a joint account in order to carry out some functions they say is collaborative. What's your take on that?
Thank you, Dr. Constance, and good evening, Nigerians. Let me appreciate the contribution of Samson Itodo, because he's been able to take us a long journey of exploration, trying to put into consideration the threshold of the issue of joint account of the local governments with a view to defining the moment as it relates to the judicial system of this country and how it has been able to put a stop to what a lot of people consider as the exploitative tendencies of the grassroots. If you look at the issue of local government right from the dawn of history, looking at it from the time, when I'm talking of dawn of history, I am taking from the Olusegun Obasanjo days to the present, you find that local government administration has become more of a glorified government that is under the lapdog of the governors. There were wide-scale allegations that of the 3 tiers of government, allocations are every month given to all the 3 tiers, including the local government. But unfortunately, Dr. Constance, you'll agree with me that people have been complaining.
Right.
In our days when we were young, local government used to do culverts, they meet the earnings operation, the health facilities, and also they've been able to run government at the grassroots where the people matter. And also they dispense goodwill. But unfortunately, with this joint account, a lot of people have been complaining that the governors seem to have overwhelmed the resources and they've been pocketing most of the resources that they don't give it. Some of the local governments are taking 1 or 2 million and then the rest are going to the governor. So I think it's a welcome development.
But there's also the other side of the coin, which is that for many local governments too, at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, they collect the money and they disappear. Nothing happens in those local governments. One is the next cycle to receive allocation, they come back there. So there also has to be responsibility on their part. How do you manage that?
You see, the beauty of democracy is a system of government that allows the people to rule and to control the affairs of governance. When you look at these local governments, how many of them are even getting the resources? Most of them, except for some few governors that have the fear of God, that are giving these local governments some part of their monies. Most of them seems to have taken that as a kind of jamboree where they use some of these resources for their own common good. They virtually do not give the local governments. That's what I stated, that there are these allegations by some of these local government chairmen. That's why most of these governors handpick the local government chairmen. They don't even go for elections. They only handpick, nominate them, their cronies and their lapdogs to go into local government system with a view to controlling the destiny of the local government. That's why today you see migration. From the grassroots, people don't get jobs, they don't do anything, they all move to Abuja or to the state capitals. How many people are accessible to the governors?
Yes.
How many people are accessible to the presidency? Or can they come to the federal capital to look for jobs? That's why you see Nigeria, especially the FCT, is saturated. It's a beautiful city, one of the best in sub-Saharan Africa, that has been modeled to have a kind of population with facilities attached to it. But today it has been overstretched. It's because of movement of people that don't have jobs, they don't have anywhere with that. If the local government is functioning, I can attest to you, Dr. Constance, there will be a difference because people will be able to go to the local government chairman, get contracts, get monies, do everything, and therefore there will be prosperity. I commend the president for this singular act of going to the Supreme Court, and this Supreme Court has just justice to it.
That's a very good point that you make about one of the factors of migration from rural areas to urban centers. So you sincerely believe that financial independence will drive this change that we're looking for?
Exactly. Financial independence is very, very paramount in any democratic setup. In the days gone by, or if you look at the system of governance in this country, things were moving from the sublime to the ridiculous, where mediocrity and iniquity ruled. You find out that a lot of states, they are virtually doing nothing, except for some few that are really engaging themselves in democratic or developmental structures that they want to have their names put on the sands of time. Some people, they don't bother. Once allocation is given, either some of them will come to Abuja and go to Bureau de Change, and it will just be changing dollars. And therefore, the bazaar continues.
And that's why you have so much pressure on the dollars.
Exactly.
It's part of the problem.
It's part of the problem.
Yes.
By the economic tricks or the economic pronouncements of a lot of great thinkers, they believe that the autonomy of the local government is very paramount. And therefore, to me, the issue of Anambra State, I know the governor is a very intelligent person. If you close the door, he might find a window to escape. Therefore, there is the need for the Supreme Court to put its feet on the sands of time.
Okay.
Forget about the fact that it's a joint account by local government. This local government, who nominated them? Whose people are they? Are there a lot of political parties where the chairman will raise objection? No, these are all the chop and chop boys.
Right.
And therefore, whatever the governor wants, they dance to the tune and rhythmic flavor of the governor.
Do you think the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been as effective as it should have been, given the vision that the former president had in setting it up?
Yes, you see, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, started with Malam Nuhu Ribadu, and it was it was laid beautiful, up to the point of Mala Ibrahim Magu. Whether we like it or not, history will judge Ibrahim Magu as one of the best EFCC chairmen in this country.
Really?
Yes, forget about all these accusations. I know him. We went to the same secondary school with him. I knew him. I knew his character and characterization. And I knew the standpoint of that gentleman.
So you're saying that everything, all the accusations against him are all false?
Look, it is just, you see, if you fight corruption, corruption will fight you back. And let me tell you, believe me, this is one person that has not been able to, steal government money. I can bet it with my integrity and everything. But you see, coming down to the present, I know this current chairman is also trying his best. The issue of some of these governors trying to say they don't want EFCC is self-serving. Why? If you ask me, who took the matter especially to the court? Is the governor of Kogi State. Governor of Kogi State is leading because of the accusation that has been placed on the doorstep of his master, who brought him single-handedly, whether rightly or wrongly, who declared him as the governor of the state.
So you're talking about Yahaya Bello, who has a case in the EFCC.
Yahaya Bello has baggages like the sword of Damocles. Let him come out and face the EFCC. EFCC is very important. Otherwise, the danger of scrapping EFCC is better imagined than experienced. If we allow EFCC to be scrapped, or the government allow EFCC to go, as some people will think, believe me, we are going to produce Mobutu Sese Sekos, Joseph Kasavubus, Idi Amins, and also we are going to produce people like Paul Biya of Cameroon. They will pocket the whole treasury into their pockets, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because now, if you look at, even with the EFCC, there are a lot of governors now that have been able to pocket the resources of the country. Despite that, they have been taken to EFCC, but they just feel that EFCC seems to be helpless because of the judicial system.
Right.
Because this is also very important, fundamentally, Dr. Constance. The judicial system has not been able to be fair to EFCC. There are cases now that are over 10, 20 years in court. Why can't we have immediate dispensation of justice? So as an example, for others to follow. Otherwise, what the young ones are looking at the moment, in due course, when we die, people like us that are old, the young ones that are coming, they will just be looking at the mouths of these politicians at the moment. So when they come in, they are going to practice something. Are
you satisfied with the level of involvement of women in politics? And if you're not, what can be done about that? You see, Dr. Constance, the involvement of women in politics, I completely agree with it. And I want to encourage the Nigerian woman. Because if you look at the Nigerian woman, she is a woman of virtue and a woman that can hold herself very high in terms of credibility and in terms of content and context. A woman, well, I know that there are some exceptions where some women steal more than the men, pilfer the treasuries. But let me tell you, there are some factors that are militating. Because I heard Madam Nana Kazori talking about some of the impediments. The impediments are, there are hurdles that can be crossed. Fundamentally, you see the issue of cultural barrier, where
religion comes into play, and also the issue of people not dancing to the tune of attraction of women in politics. Two, women are also their own major predicaments. Because if women now, as it is today, could rally around one woman and say that, look, we want this woman as president, believe me, with their numerical strength, because women are more than men.
Yes.
Most of the times it's men that die. Women, you see a woman reaching 100 and 150 years, but men, because of the pressure of the economy, because of pressure of political system, we die early. If they sit down to articulate a position, they will be able to be the president of this country. But unfortunately, if you look at Dr. Constance, women, they don't like themselves. Three.
Well, not everybody agrees with that, but we're almost out of time.
Yes.
So your final point.
Now, the final point generally, let me appreciate the issues of, getting into politics by Nigerian women. I think they are going to change the rhythm, the flavor, are also going to change the perception, because men are also very selfish.
Right.
They put meetings in the night, 2, 3 a.m., so as to not allow the woman to go for meetings. So therefore, these are some of the impediments, and I think the Nigerian woman has a bright future of getting into politics.
Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Dr. Ibrahim Modibbo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Costa.
Thank you. Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.